So I'm Gábor Hojtsy. I'm the contribution coordinator for Starshot, and I will tell you a secret first, that my interest in this talk is not really to answer your questions. It's going to be, we're going to answer all of your questions, but it's not really to answer your questions, but for you to see all of these people here and see how they work and see how they think and see that they're humans and then be involved with them tomorrow. So hopefully you registered for tomorrow, but you can also reach out to them today anytime and discuss Drupal CMS. So the first question is, who are you? What's your role in Drupal CMS? And what's the one thing that's best about your role?
Hi, I'm Tim Plunkett. I'm a senior engineering manager at Acquia, and I'm the technical lead of Drupal CMS. And my favorite thing has been really getting to know a bunch of the different track leads and see, work in different parts of Drupal that I'm not used to. Including like especially the data privacy and the SEO stuff has been really exciting. So.
I'm Pamela Barone. I'm the product owner for Starshot, and I think my favorite thing has just been getting together like the most amazing experts and enthusiastic contributors in the Drupal community and working with them together to create what we've created so far. And I think there's lots more to do, so I'm looking forward to continuing to do that.
Hi everybody, I'm Cristina Chumillas. I'm the UX lead, and the thing that I love the most is actually getting to explain new parts or just parts, really technical parts to new designers and see their faces and see how obvious it is that we need to improve things and that we have a lot of things to make it better.
Hello, I'm Jamie, and I am on the AI track. I work at an agency that I co-founded, and I'm not a developer. So the thing that excites me most about AI is that I can do more myself without having to ask other people to do it. So it's kind of a selfish reason why I've got into the AI stuff with Drupal CMS.
Hi everyone, I'm Lenny Moskalik, and I am a delivery manager with the DA and part of the Drupal CMS leadership team as well. And my favorite thing about my role is perhaps communication with all the amazing companies that are and learning how willing people are to contribute and to be part of this great thing that we call Drupal CMS.
I'm Lauri Timmanee. I am the product lead for the Experience Builder initiative, part of Drupal CMS. And my favorite part about working on the Experience Builder is the amazing team that I have behind the Experience Builder, both designers and developers. And so far, we've not been able to account the problem that is too big for the team to accomplish and to tackle. And that's been amazing because of there's some pretty hard problems there that I'm going to be talking about later today in my presentation.
Nice. And I'm Dries. I think we've all met-ish. I'm the product lead on the Drupal CMS team, and I guess my favorite thing is just the energy that we have inside the team as well as outside the team, the energy that we've created in the Drupal world. And I will say, like, this team has been working so hard. Like, we've been working really non-stop every day for many weeks now, and I think that comes up because of that energy. And for me, the energy comes from partially the impact that I believe Drupal CMS will have. So.
All right, thank you. Do we want another road mic on this? If you want that recorded as well, or you have another one that has a road mic? No? All right, we can continue. So next question. One of you should take this. What makes Drupal CMS easy as opposed to starting with Drupal core?
Somebody.
Let me start. I think that's the thing that makes it easy, really, that the concept behind it is low-code or no-code product. And I remember when I was starting only around 10 years ago with my journey with Drupal, I remember so many feedback from people that they had fun playing with Drupal, that it was possible to set up the website within one day and already like have some like, you know, minimal web page that will be representing you pretty much. And I, for one, am very happy that we kind of bringing back that fun back to Drupal.
I think there's additional things such as the fact that we are converging on solutions where at the moment, if you start with Drupal, there's a lot of decisions that need to happen when you're building a Drupal site. And if you're not familiar with the 55,000 modules that exist, it can be actually quite challenging at first to realize what are the differences, what are the trade-offs between different solutions. And sometimes even if you know, it's not very obvious. And now with Drupal CMS, we've come together and thought about what are the actual use cases, what are the trade-offs, and what can we do to actually maybe build one solution where we as a community can agree on what the trade-offs are that we should be making. An example of that could be that there's a search module in Drupal core, and there's a search API module in Contrib. The search module, based on conversations that we had with members of the community, is not something that is frequently used in actual projects that are being built. The problem that there is with search API is that it's hard to set up. So now the question is then, what could we do to take the actual production-ready module and make it easy for people to install? And then that way we actually are able to solve the original trade-off, which was between the actual production-level capability and ease of use or ease of installation.
I can add something real quick too, sorry. I would add that we're trying to look at it holistically, and you saw that maybe a little bit better in my Barcelona keynote, but we're really thinking about how do we make it easier for people to learn about Drupal, to product marketing and the website, to if somebody gets interested, like how do we enable them to try Drupal CMS through a trial experience, to how do we make the installation experience better with an updated installer and recipes, to how do we make the page building experience better once you've got it installed, and then how do we even make the maintenance experience better to, you know, using things like automatic updates. So we're really trying to make it easier across the entire customer journey. And hopefully that is something that you'll see come to life. You know, and AI, of course, we haven't touched on AI here as well, but AI will also help make things easier, you know, in the product.
I can assure you there were AI questions. We'll get to them. There were. All right, so now that you mentioned, what's the plan for trialing and the ongoing hosting of Drupal CMS, and will there be opportunities for hosting in the Asia-Pacific region?
All right, so indeed, like we're discussing like quite a few opportunities at the moment about the trial experience, of course, and we are looking forward to revealing more details very soon. Actually, as we speak, my colleague, Tim Lennon, he is in charge of the conversations with a couple of companies that we are considering as an options. And of course, the product will be available all around the world, including the Pacific region. So, yeah, I think that's in brief that.
Sure. All right, so let's get back to our features. Who we are trying to compete with. Are we trying to compete with Webflow or Wix? If so, what are the best case scenarios of using Drupal CMS over them? What are differentiators?
Yes, I think Wix, Studio, and Webflow are listed in the strategy document. So the strategy document that we put together does list the people we're targeting specifically, and those two are on the list. I mean, I think that the benefits of Drupal are obviously the flexibility, the open source nature of it. So Wix Studio and Webflow are great. They give you a specific set of tools, and you can build a lot with them, but it's still limited. You know, you can't do whatever you want, obviously, because it's proprietary and it's locked down. So I think at the moment, there's obviously a big gap between the sort of intuitiveness, the slickness, the ease of use between Drupal and Webflow. But we can fix that, but they can't really fix the flexibility open source aspect because that, that's unchangeable for them. So I think the opportunity is massive if we can get really anywhere near that in terms of ease of use. Then I think we have a lot of potential.
I can add something, but yeah, I would go check out the strategy document actually. So we use this framework, Playing to Win, and it's basically 5 strategic questions that you need to answer in the framework to define your strategy, and they're kind of ordered in order of importance. And it's actually the second question, which is where will we play, and it lists competitors. But I would say the 2 big shifts, at least in my mind, is one, a focus on the no-code experience, marketers, content creators, those personas, and that's obviously a very big change for us, and that basically puts us in a bucket of competitors. The other shift that we purposely decided on and that we haven't really talked that much about is we also want to broaden the budgets, if you will, of the people that can adopt Drupal. So we want to actually go down market a bit. I'm not saying we're going to go compete SMB, so we're not competing with Squarespace and sort of regular Wix, which is, I don't know, less than $20 a month. But we do want to make Drupal more accessible, which is why we're so focused not only on ease of use and no-code developer experience, but also in lowering the maintenance cost of Drupal sites. So I guess it's a shift towards marketers, but also a shift towards lower budget projects as well. That would be a nice outcome for Drupal CMS too. So we're competing with all the companies or products that that Pam mentioned. So.
All right, so and then there are people in the Drupal community. So somebody asked, will Starshot be only for new projects? Will we be able to upgrade existing projects to it? And somebody said, I have a Drupal 7 site. Is Drupal CMS in my future?
So for Drupal 7 sites, absolutely yes. You can migrate your Drupal 7 site into Drupal CMS. If you have a Drupal 10 or 11 site, you would not migrate it to Drupal CMS. You would not upgrade it. The reason for that is that everything we've built for Drupal CMS is reusable on an existing Drupal site. So if there's any aspect of Drupal CMS that you think you can benefit from, you can add it to your existing site. You would not migrate, upgrade. There would be no reason for you to do that because there's the only thing that's unique to Drupal CMS is basically the installer. So if you've already got a site, you don't need the installer. You can use any of the recipes we've put together, and there's been considerable technical difficulty in making that happen. So we've gone kind of out of our way to make sure that everything is kind of distinct and reusable. So any recipe we have, you can use. All of the contrib modules that we've added and are working on improving, anyone can use. And I think back to just in the first question, Lauri was talking about the convergence as being one of the things that's going to make Drupal CMS easier, but that's also going to make any Drupal development easier. So if you already have a site, and this happened the other day that somebody said, one of my clients is asking about consent management, what's the best module for that? And I was like, we not only have we in Drupal CMS managed to consolidate from whatever it was, maybe 6 or 7 modules that you could choose from, and some have lots of uses and some have fewer uses, and it's like, well, what do I do? Not only do we have one that we chose, but we have an architectural decision record about why we chose it, and I was able to answer the question, point to the documentation, and it's kind of like, job done. So before, and having done that myself, especially with consent management, before that would have been a huge, what do we do? I have to try them all out. I have to install them. Now it's like, well, just go spin up Drupal CMS. You can log in. You can see how it works. And so again, I guess the point is like, it's not really an either or. If you're already on Drupal, you can use anything that Drupal CMS has to offer on the site that you already have.
Yeah, I would like to add that Drupal 7 is over, but it's also not over. So if you have a Drupal 7 site, you probably don't. We will release Drupal CMS after Drupal 7 is already end of life, like a week after. So you can find extended support options already for Drupal 7. So It's still alive, sort of. So next question is, Drupal CMS is heavily going to be focused on marketing sites or the marketer persona. Are we going to have other versions as well, like maybe for the coupled Drupal e-commerce? Do we expect or want something like Ubuntu and Debian with a clear separation of framework and product?
Right, and we talked about this in our session yesterday, and the answer is yes, absolutely. Drupal CMS is sort of a first new idea on providing an opinionated CMS, and we're doing a lot of work to establish the best practices of how to do that. As Pam alluded to, the ability to take the individual packages and recipes of Drupal CMS and have them distributed and reusable. It was a lot of technical work. I wouldn't say problems. It was technical excellence in practice. But yeah, I mean, I think that it's going to be great.
Yeah, and actually, I can add something real quick too, because quite a few people have asked me, so, what happened with headless and decoupled? It seems like you don't talk about that anymore. And it's true, I haven't talked about it that much in recent months, but one of the ideas, as they mentioned, is that we will have other versions of Drupal in time, not just Drupal CMS, and like we envision a future where we have maybe a version of Drupal that is super optimized for developers and comes out of the box with headless capabilities in a way that Drupal core doesn't. So something that we've been working on. We haven't talked about it much, but like the core committers, some of which are on stage as well, we've been meeting and we've been trying to define a strategy for Drupal core, just like we define a strategy for Drupal CMS. And when that comes out, you'll see elements of this reflected in that strategy document. We're asking ourselves questions like, how can we evolve Drupal core so that we can enable more organizations or the community in general to build other sort of Drupal CMS-like things for different personas, so.
And one more thing I wanted to add, which is that I think the biggest tool that will allow us to sort of differentiate and make things like commerce or learning management systems is Experience Builder. We're waiting for Experience Builder in order to finish the plan we have for Drupal CMS. And the further along that gets, and whenever Lauri's done with it, then we'll be able to really present Drupal visually differently as well as technically differently. I think that's going to be key.
That's a great cue to the next question of, we are obviously not using Experience Builder yet. We are using Layout Builder or Paragraphs now. How can they migrate to Experience Builder? Are there any challenges expected?
So we are looking into the migration of Paragraphs and Layout Builder into Experience Builder. There's going to be supported ways to do that. The goal is to not force anyone to migrate from Paragraphs and Layout Builder. That's the first principle, is that unless you want to move from your existing module to Experience Builder, you're not forced into doing that. So the existing modules will be supported for quite a while in future. There's over 200,000 sites using Paragraphs, for example. We will provide tooling for those sites and users who want to move from those tools into Experience Builder to be able to benefit from the better experience. I will talk about that in more detail in my presentation later this afternoon to kind of give a high-level idea on how that will look like. So that's, I guess, a pitch for my presentation.
What time is it?
It's at 4 p.m. this afternoon, and I guess it's going to be here. I hope so.
Yeah, and I also heard that Jamie is planning on AI tools to migrate. But first, before we dive into that too much, we received, I think, 4 different questions about, can you provide a high-level summary of what AI capabilities are included with Drupal CMS 1.0?
Yes. So the high-level summary is that we're focusing on a couple of key features. So, sorry, my voice is dead from last night. We have high-level features like the alt text generation is a very simple but very powerful thing where you can have an image, click a button, and AI generates helps you there. What we've decided is to really focus on AI being a support for you as a site builder or marketeer And so it's about guiding you through that experience. So we've really put a lot of effort into these agents. So you'll see this little chatbot. You'll be able to talk to the chatbot. It understands your site. It can help you guide you through things and actually do things for you. So we're supporting content types, fields, and taxonomy, as well as some of the media module out of the box. And so you'll be able to create new pages, you'll be able to edit existing ones, you'll be able to start with a recipe, like the events recipe, and edit it and add fields to it. Or it will ask you, do you want me to do it? Or it can lead you through. But when it leads you through, rather than it being like generic documentation about, I don't know, how to add terms in taxonomy, it can guide you to the specific thing that you're trying to do using the links on your site, using the context on your site and the words on your site. So those are the core features that we're going to support. Between now and release, and also since Barcelona, we've really focused on making these agents robust. With AI, it's quite easy to make really magical demos. It's a lot harder to make them work regularly and be really useful for people that don't know Drupal concepts, that don't know prompt engineering, don't know how to use the right terms. So we put a lot of energy into the tooling behind the scenes to make it easier for us to debug these agents, test them, and we've tested them with a lot of real people who don't know anything about Drupal, and to see how we can make those things better, which will really give us a lot of the tools to really expand these agents. So I'm particularly excited by the views agents, which won't be in for version 1, but I think views would be really powerful too. It's one of these modules that's really hard to get started with, but actually it's not too hard to train someone to edit an existing view. And so having something where AI can get you started will be amazing. Yeah.
All right, next AI question. What's your take on using AI for theming, for example, automating theme creation based on brand guidelines, which could potentially increase adaptability of Drupal?
Yeah, I mean, personally, that's one of the things I've been working on for a long time that I've been excited. We used to call it Figma to Drupal. I don't know, it's like design to Drupal now, but we've started building these tools where you can take a screenshot of a page, an existing page, or a Figma design, and click a button and bring it into, we originally tried things with Paragraph and Layout Builder and Layout Paragraphs, and also now we've been working with Experience Builder, which has been very, very cool. And we're submitting with a consortium of people for the design system. And I think that's going to be really interesting as well, because when we look at the current design system, the demo one there's a couple of things about it where it's aimed at people, there's a lot of things that it assumes you understand why you would use it this way or what's the purpose of this. But an AI-powered design system would be something where there's basically extensive documentation that AI can read about why would I use a hero component, why would I use it in this situation or this one. And that means that AI can help work with designers, but also content editors. When they create new pages or new experiences, they can create these things in Experience Builder, but keeping in tune with the things that they've picked in their design system, but also what the designer has for the website, the kind of brand guidelines, etc. I think that could be really powerful. Again, we really do want to focus on supporting people who build Drupal sites rather than just simply doing it entirely in an automated manner. So our goal isn't, completely replace a designer and just generate loads and loads of images, but it's more about helping work with the design systems that we've got, with the rules that a designer has, and help content editors keep with those.
Yeah, along those lines, we have the last and ultimate AI question of how can we ensure that we are not taken out by AI, leaving us, the ones that helped created it in the first place, behind?
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk a bit more about in my talk this afternoon. But when ChatGPT first hit, there was a few sleepless nights. Is my company over? Do I never have a job? Like it was quite a panic. I mean, can I have a show of hands? How many people had that experience when they saw AI? Yeah, okay, a few people. And then when Claude released Artifacts, I had another experience like that. The reality is that what I've come to learn is that, well, to some degree, what AI is doing for us, we did for developers with PHP. Most people don't spend loads of their time trying to figure out where in the memory to store certain things. Drupal itself, like one of our clients used Dreamweaver, and they had staff who would have to change every menu link across the site. And they had this weird Inception parallel website where they'd forget to change a link. So if you clicked in a real strange way, you get to a new place. And so we made things easier for people. And it hasn't meant that we've got less work. I mean, I think when you look at it, do you find most of your clients are limited by ideas, innovation, things that they want, or are they limited by budgets? If you can do 10 times the number of stuff for the same budget, will they just say no to that? Especially when all their competitors are also able to do 10 times more stuff. I also think if you had the best program in the world, would you like take them and put them in your governments and just allow them free reign to just write code anywhere and just change the data anywhere? I think what we find is that actually we still need to do things in a responsible way. We still need accountability. We still need to have decisions of which direction we go in, and we're going to need humans for that. And so I think a human-centric approach to AI is going to last, which will need us.
So now that we are back at humans, how can Drupal projects prioritize accessibility, and what role does our team play in fostering an inclusive web experience?
I'm not the best expert in terms of accessibility, but we do have a track that has brought like a really interesting integration with the UI to give you like live feedback of whatever content you're creating. So the fact that we've put experts, and I think it's a group of people that actually decided, like the accessibility team actually came up with the things that needed to be in Drupal CMS. So basically, some of the best experts came together and decided what's the best thing. And on a UI perspective, it makes so much sense also. So
the accessibility track itself was focused on tools to include in Drupal CMS. We still have the Drupal accessibility team that is doing an analysis of every contrib module that's included, and they have already created a series of issues for all of those modules to address, which are all, I think they're all tagged for the sprint tomorrow. So if you're looking to find something to work on tomorrow, we have a whole long list of issues. But I mean, obviously at the moment there are some issues, but the thing that's really exciting is that because those modules are now in Drupal CMS, there's a lot more interest and there's a lot more focus on getting those things fixed. And also the accessibility tool that we've included, which is called Editorially, initially the user experience was not quite so good because you had the edit screen and then you had to have a preview of what you were looking at. But as a result of the Drupal CMS, the excitement and the enthusiasm, they improved it massively by, instead of having these two different views, you can actually in line see what the problems are and just do it all in one place. And that was in the demo yesterday, but that's just a massive improvement, and it makes it so much easier and so much more likely that people are going to address these issues. And I mean, I'm sure we've all had the experience where you have a client that says, yeah, my site needs to be accessible. They get it certified, and then they get the stamp, and then they forget about it. And we all know that the website itself is, it's not usually the markup that's the problem, it's the content. And so by including these tools, the people who are interested and are able to put the work in will have a much easier time ensuring that their content is accessible. So.
Yeah, and there's an element where AI can help with that as well. So we've obviously got the current feature of being able to generate alt text with AI. But there's a couple of things that we've been speaking to the accessibility track about, where we find that a lot of people, although we require alt text, if you're someone who doesn't really understand accessibility principles, you might just write whatever you can to try and get past the required field, or you might not really know how to describe an image in the kind of way that somebody wants it to be seen. So we're planning to extend a lot of the features that we've already got with the AI and accessibility to do things like take a look at the existing stuff that you have and evaluate it and tell you why maybe you can improve it. Also, what's going to be really powerful about AI-assisted one compared to previous, like more ML ones, is that in the past it would just look at the image and describe that. But with Drupal, because it's an image that's in context of your site, we can feed in what that image is supposed to do. So you can see one thing they gave as an example in the accessibility team, I think Gareth said, was like there was an image and it looked like it was of Australia. But when you looked at the content, it was all about water and how much of the world was covered in water. And so really the alt tech should have been more about the oceans around Australia than just the country. And so there's all these things there which I think we will be able to improve upon with what we started with AI assisting accessibility. I think also we're working on some tools with, like, a lot of people struggle sometimes with structured content and paragraphs, and they want to write things in like Word documents, and they want to put images all over the place. So we've been exploring, can we help AI allow content editors to write things in what they like, and then move it into something that is more structured, an experience builder or paragraphs, which would then help with responsiveness and accessibility because it's structured, but allow people to have the tools that they're used to.
Thank you. So
I wanted to add something to that, because there's a little bit of like a philosophical difference between Drupal CMS and Drupal core when it comes to accessibility and gates in general. So Drupal core has this approach of gates where everything that you add into Drupal core needs to meet a certain level of quality. And usually the controversy is around, where do you draw that line in there? What can we accept in Drupal core? The challenge we have with Drupal CMS is because we wanted to get something done very quickly, that it's going to be very hard to set the bar at the same level as where it is at Drupal core, because of what we have in Contrib is not going to be following the same standards. And that's already the reality in which we are dealing with every Drupal site, because every Drupal site is installing a lot of these modules on their site. So with Drupal CMS, how we are approaching this problem spaces of quality is that we look at all of the challenges that we have across different modules in terms of accessibility, user experience, bugs, all of that, and then we prioritize it based on what are the most severe problems that we have in there. How do they impact the key user journeys that exist, that impact our users? And then we've solved the biggest problems, and we try to always improve where we can add the most value in terms of addressing these challenges. So it's a different mindset in how we are approaching it. In the long run, it should ensure that we have a platform that is significantly stronger, more accessible, more usable than what it's been before. And even in the 8 months that we've had, it should have contributed positively to how accessible and usable the platform as a whole is.
So speaking of experts, somebody's asking, how could agencies who typically manage the code base with Git benefit from automatic updates in Project Browser? Or will it only be interesting for individual site admins and the agencies just disable them entirely?
Sorry, the first part was with Git, did you say? Yeah, okay.
I can take this.
Yeah, why don't you start?
Okay, so I think we've had a little bit of a branding problem with automatic updates, where we've called it automatic updates and we've told that it magically solves all the update problems in the world by just automatically updating your sites. And it's not always the case when you are on a professionally managed environment where you are doing CI pipelines and all of these things. What we should probably call automatic updates instead is an update manager. It's something that can help you in the process of updating your sites, whether that is automatically in your production or locally on your site. It's essentially a UI for Composer. So it allows you to run Composer commands in the Drupal interface. So you can run updates manually on your site using automatic updates, which I'm now calling Update Manager. So Update Manager can replace you from running those complex Composer commands by just doing it in the UI. And same is true for Project Browser, where you can use Project Browser either on just your production side if you don't have a local development environment. But if you're using Git and CIs and all of that, you can use Project Browser locally, and it provides a better experience for browsing extensions than what you get currently on Drupal.org. And then you can, from that single interface, you can also install modules, and it uses Composer behind the scenes, so you can go in and commit everything to get just like you would do with your other changes.
Yeah, I agree. And then all the project browser uses the same underlying utilities, and so it follows the same convention of what Lauri just said. So, yeah.
And I would connect to what Pam said, is there's a bunch of great side effects of automatic updates in Project Browser, because Project Browser, with the quality metrics that the team is working on, will help raise the quality of Contrib. And automatic updates, because it has this feature of automatically updating things, it will turn out bugs in the update process much sooner than the manual updates. So will result in updates in Contrib being more reliable. That's the hope, at least. So there's we hope to have a lot of ripple effects that are useful across the community, regardless of actually using these tools or not. All right, so next up is will commits to Drupal CMS be as credit-worthy as currently in Drupal core for myself or my organization?
So I think that we actually we have quite an interesting and generous, as a matter of fact, agreements with all the companies that are contributing to Starshot. And if you want to learn about more details, please do reach out to me and I will provide all the necessary information about that. But yeah, we also are looking into the ways how in the future, because we obviously want to have much more recipes that than currently are available within the Drupal CMS. So we also like looking into the future and working on the details of for the programs, how we can make beneficial to the community, how we can basically like make you excited about creating more recipes, adding those to the, making those available in the project browser for the Drupal CMS.
Yeah, and I think just to the specific detail of the original question, yes. So currently, Drupal CMS commits are weighted the same as core commits, along with a number of the other strategic projects for Drupal CMS. So project browser, Gin theme, dashboard, auto updates, experience builder, all of those are getting the same credit as Drupal core. And occasionally with an issue that we need really quickly or we want to encourage contribution, we can add what's called a bonus, and then that gets 5 times. So instead of 10, it would be 50. So keep your eye out for the bonus ones, because that's the best bang for your buck.
And yeah, and just adding one more to the list of the causes that Pam just noted, that Drupal org update actually is also one of those programs that are being credited in a similar way.
Let's please not forget that there's other people contributing that are not developers, and that means we need more designers, and we've already had really good cases of designers that are not contributing in the issue queue, but are also getting credits. So if you have designers available, please send them to us.
I'm just going to ask, does everybody know what we mean when we say credit system and credit? Yeah? Is there anyone that doesn't know what it is? All right. Yeah, you don't? Yeah, so basically, and it's fine, like it's a very unique thing to us, but the short version is like whenever you contribute to Drupal, whether it's code or documentation or anything else, you get a credit. And the credit, you know, it's like a credit, like a air mile credit or something. And we keep track of how many credits each individual has and how many credits an organization has. And then the credit is used to, for example, determine your ranking in our marketplace. So the organizations with the most credits are ranked more visibly. And then we have weighted credits, which maybe not everybody knows either, but like you get 1 credit for every contribution, but then also depending on what you contribute, you can actually get sort of more credits. So we can say, here's the strategic things that we want to encourage people to contribute to, like Drupal CMS. And if you contribute to Drupal CMS, you get more credits than, let's say, when you contribute to something that maybe only 3 people in the world use, you know? So we try to kind of incentivize people to contribute to the most important things.
All right, our time is almost up, so I have one final question that I would like everybody to answer. What is your Christmas wish for Drupal CMS?
I mean, I wish for the RC1 to come out, which it did yesterday.
Oh.
My wish is, on behalf of some others who are very concerned about it, is that every module that we include in Drupal CMS will have a stable release tag.
Ooh.
Looking at someone? As I mentioned several times, I really wish that we have a stable and big enough design and UX team to actually make Drupal more usable.
Yeah, I feel like my wish is that the AI stuff we've got in Drupal just blows people away so much that outside the Drupal community, the kind of AI community starts flocking to our tools and start building everything in Drupal instead of everything else they've got at the moment. So that's the dream, is some kind of world domination.
Nice.
That's a good one. Let me think. Dries, do you want to go? It's like I'm still thinking.
We're going in order.
All right. So I think my Christmas wish for Drupal CMS is I'm really looking forward to actually getting real feedback from the real people that will start using it, and for that feedback to help us to make it even cooler with time to come.
My Christmas wish for Drupal CMS is to have a frictionless trial experience.
Nice. I guess for me, it's about attracting new people to Drupal. You know, I want, like, imagine next year we're back at DrupalCon Asia, and we have, let's say, 50 people that found their way to Drupal because of Drupal CMS. That would be a very nice outcome to me. So.
My Christmas wish is that a lot of you show up tomorrow, we fill in the room as planned, and we make a lot of things happen together. So, and finally, the final thing is the winner of the spaceship. And so the winner is a contributor who contributed 162 issues recently, is a volunteer at this event, also organized a bunch of events before, a regular contributor to different things, as a Drupal and Mautic developer with over 6 years of experience, and also submitted 3 of the questions that I asked. So yeah, thank you. So that's Abhishek Mazumdar. Woo! Thank you. Thanks. So that's it for us today. Catch us in the hallways and have a good conference. Thank you.